Okay, so let's put the pool method into action with some rational expressions. So I have two examples here in the guided notes, one in which the denominators are all monomials, one in which the denominators are polynomials, and we're going to do both of those right now. So remember the pool method, you start by factoring all the denominators fully. So this first denominator is 4x squared, so that is the same thing as 2 times x times x. And then 12x cubed is, I'm going to lower this down a little bit so I can fit it in here. 2 times 3 times x times x times x. And then 9x is 3 times 3 times x. So I've got everything fully factored. So now I'm going to toss everything into the pool. All right, so here we go. Pool, starting with my first denominator, which is going to be 2 times x times x. And then I go to my second denominator and say, what do I have and what am I missing? Well, I've already got the two 2's in the pool, and I've got two x's in the pool, so I need a 3 and an x. Now I go to my third denominator. I need two 3's in the pool. I already have one 3, so I need another 3, and I need an x, and I already have that. So that means my common denominator then, my least common denominator here, would be 36x cubed. So now I'm going to write everything that I need to adjust. So notice the first denominator has two 2's and two x's in it. It's missing the two 3's and the x. So I'm going to multiply that 7. I'm going to write this out this time. So let's see, this was 7, and it was 2x and x. It's missing the 3, the x, and the 3. So I need to multiply that by that on top as well. If I go to my second denominator, which had 2, 3, x, and I look in the car, let me get my thing going on here. It's got the two 2's, it's got the 3, it's got the 3 x's, so it's missing that 3 on the end. So I need that. And then my third denominator had the 3, and the x in it. So it had the 3, and the x, so it needs all that stuff in the front. The two 2's and the two x's, and those would get multiplied by the 2 that was already sitting up there on top. Cool. So now I'm going to multiply those things together. And let's see, that would be 63x, and this would be 9, and this would be 8x squared. And those denominators would be, I said 36x cubed on all of them. So now I'm going to add and subtract the numerators. Now keep in mind, 63x and 9 and 8x squared are not like terms, so when I write them, they're just going to have to stay separate. And if you wanted to, you could reorder that and make it like in descending order with the squared is first and x is next. But that's entirely up to you. So that's that one. So in the second example, we got polynomials. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start by factoring the denominators. X minus 2 doesn't factor. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that by putting in a parenthesis saying I've fully factored as much as I can. 2x minus 4 can factor. It has a common factor of 2, so I'm going to pull that out. It's going to be really important that you remember to pull out greatest common factors when you have them. That'll make your life a lot easier. And I did that wrong. It's actually 2 times x minus 2, not x minus 4. Cool. And then my third denominator, x squared minus 3x plus 2, that factors into x minus 2 times x minus 1. So I'm going to build my pool. Toss in my x minus 2. Go to my second denominator. I need the 2 and an x minus 2. I already have the x minus 2, so I'm going to toss in the 2. Go to my third denominator. Needs an x minus 2 and an x minus 1. I've already got the x minus 2, so I'm going to toss in the x minus 1. Now I'm going to go back and adjust my numerators. My first denominator had an x minus 2 in it, so it needs a 2 and an x minus 1 in it. And I'll admit, when I'm writing these, sometimes I get really lazy, and I'll write LCD down here and wait until I get to the end to actually write the common denominator there. So the second denominator had the 2 and the x minus 2, so it was missing the x minus 1. And then my third denominator had the x minus 2 and the x minus 1, so it was missing the 2. So now I'm going to multiply these things out. And then I'm going to add the fractions together. And now that I'm at the last step, I'll go ahead and multiply that out. So let's see, that'd be 2x squared minus 6x plus 4, if I multiplied all that out. And then when I add and subtract here, I'm going to combine like terms. So let's see, 6x and 5x make 11x. Negative 6 plus negative 5 is negative 11, minus 14 is negative 25, and that is fully put together.